Champions League via the league, then we need to include Manchester United in that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba are on their way, and Jose Mourinho breaks his silence on his time at United.
The next one is always the most important one, and this, everyone said about Tottenham being the test. I don't think that's a test in the respect of attitude, and because you know the players are going to be up for that size of game, and then what I'm looking for now is the reaction. How do you react to a home game against a team that you think that you should go and dominate and should be better than? That's the attitude. If we go out there and do it in these games, these are the points that will get you up the table. Confidence is one thing, it's complacency, it's the other side of it, that you think it's going to be easy. I want players to be confident, but I don't want them to be complacent and put the foot off the pedal, sorry. That's a big difference for me. I want them going into there full of confidence, taking people on, playing, running, passing forward, getting the crowd with them, because that's what it's about. I have to say I look forward to getting up in the morning and to start work again. I always do, to be fair, when I work in football. You know, in Molde, Cardiff, I love working with people, trying to improve people, and when you're here, you just want to go to bed at night and then go get up in the morning again. I'm still in the hotel, yeah, but I found the place, so it won't be too long.
Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking about the importance of keeping his players focused after that win against Tottenham. It was all about the challenge, but he said that they were always going to be focused for that game against Tottenham. Now, against Brighton is the time when he can learn a bit more about whether or not his players can concentrate. What did we learn about Manchester United? We'll talk about that pass from Pogba in a second, but what did we learn about Manchester United from not just the result in the game, but from the performance?
It just seemed there's a lot more intensity about them. We saw in the second half of the game, which we'll probably go on to, how they can still be got at. But what we saw is a team that's full of confidence, full of, like, energy, you know, quality players that we know that they've got. And, you know, that was a difficult game. And in the end, you know, they got over the line. But, you know, under Mourinho, I just wouldn't have fancied them to win that game in the way they played. Yeah. I wouldn't have fancied them to win it.
Tottenham did have a lot of the game, though, so there are definite steps forward for Manchester United, but can we still see where they've got to get to?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, just rightly said, and what was key in this game, I think, is the energy levels. Because normally when you watch the Tottenham side, when they go and compete against a big team, energetically, they always beat them. And I think Man U had an answer to that. You know, when you go forward and with that pace that they have up front and just the midfield, like, you know, we talked about the Pogbas that having the freedom, Rashford playing the game again, fearless, like we want to see him fearless. We don't want to see him overthink things, you understand? Just we saw the clip now and you said we're going to talk about it, but he opens up, bang, and he puts him in because the connection is right. You need to know what your players are good at and try to play from that. And I think that's what they are now experiencing a lot. We see in the goodness, you know, in the midfield, they play with, you know, Matic and Herrera. You see there's creativity there, but also people that can win the ball back for them. And I think energetically is what brings that all together for them to do what they have to do, and that's why they compete.
And that goal was a perfect example of that. You know, you win the ball, you get it to Pogba, bam, you've got a willing runner like Marcus Rashford, and that is dangerous. You're not seeing him spending half his time in and around the right back slot. Because, and if he doesn't do it, then Mourinho's got the ump with him. He's focusing on pure energy going that way. And that is what you want. That's what you want.
And at the other end, it looks like if David De Gea did have a bit of a wobble, that's certainly over.
Well, Kels, you know, it's a situation. You're looking at a goalkeeper. Like I put a tweet
We're literally looking at a goalkeeper.
We're looking at a goalkeeper there. But I put a tweet out saying how brilliant he was, a magnificent display, but a lot of people saying that those saves, he should make those saves. It's no different to a striker who's in the right place at the right time. His positioning's right, and he's making saves again there. Yes, of course, it looks very easy, but like this one, you know, he's playing chicken with Dele. He's not gone down, he's not panicked, stayed up, and he's given Dele the problem. Again, he's got himself across the goal because the ball's coming from across the near post, and he's got himself in a position where he can make a save. He's done all the things that you have to do, and a lot of goalkeepers don't do those things. They don't make those saves because they don't get themselves
And
in
we
a
like
position to make
goalkeepers to be
those
good with
saves.
their feet now. De
Well,
Gea saves more with his feet than anyone else.
Well, to be honest, he's one of those, he gets his feet down as quick as anyone. Because when we're training, you're watching the keepers over the other side and they're doing stupid drills sometimes on the floor, getting up and then on the floor using their feet. And when you watch David De Gea in goal, you see what they're doing and how they're trying to make sure that they can make certain saves with their feet, because it's quicker to move your feet than try to dive to get down with your hands. And his display is exactly what you need when you do. I thought Man United, they were really vulnerable in the second half in stages in that game, and their goalkeeper saved them.
Yeah, they definitely needed him. I mean, like also what just at the saves with Righty, the one that he said like he was playing chicken with him. I like that saying actually.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. When you're going through with the goalkeeper, the goalkeeper wants you to either have a bad touch so as then he can come out and spring on you, but he's waiting to stay up as long as he can. It's literally has to stay up as long as he can. That's when you find out if the striker is composed and can find the spaces. There, Dele just blasted it.
Yes.
You know, so David De Gea won that situation because Dele didn't compose himself.
He blinked first.
He blinked first, Kels. That's what I was looking for.
Just what Brighton are going to be looking for is to get something out of this game against Manchester United. They actually don't have a bad record against Manchester United. We saw what they did against Liverpool last week, where Liverpool did get the win, but it came from the penalty spot. Can they suffocate Manchester United in the same way? You know
what's going to be tricky? Like they did it against Liverpool. You know, they were very disciplined and they did what they had to do. But we just saw Man United scoring a goal. You understand, from Rashford. You understand, he looks up. You know, Pogba looks up, boom, puts him in. You know, they have two centre halves. You know, Dunny and Duffy. Those two is going to be really key for them, because sometimes when you look at, you know, with all the respect to a team like Brighton, those teams normally have centre halves that definitely don't want to live in corners. No. Because they're not built to do that. You understand? They are normally, the game has to come straight up to them. But now they're going to have to learn how to turn, because the turn is going to be on all the time. Rashford is almost breathing on your shoulder all the time. And I can tell you as a defender, it's annoying. You want your player right in front of you, so it's easy, right? Yeah. The ball comes, you see him coming, chest, drop. When he is going to play on my shoulder and he's going to try to get behind me, I always have to turn while he knows what he's doing, and I have to see what is he doing and what is his player going to give to him. And those moments are never good for you as a defender.
That's the problem they're going to have. I think that Pogba is going to be a major part in this, and obviously, them playing at Old Trafford, you know, I know they've beaten them twice at the Amex, but they're going to have to play deep. Yeah, they're going to have to play deep, because if Pogba's got time on the ball, and whether it's Rashford or Martial, like you say, if the left back or the right back are not in their positions, then Dunk and Duffy are going to be taken into areas where they don't want to be, like any defender, like you said, don't want to be, and it could be a really long day for them. And Man United, in the current form, even if they play deep, Man United will still play and they will make openings for them. It's going to be a very difficult game for Brighton. He was talking about attitude, and that's what it is, because the game against Spurs is the game where everyone was saying, oh yeah, but the teams that Man United have beaten, they should be beating them. Spurs is the test. Now they're saying, well, that's not the test. Brighton's the test, because it's their attitude. Can they consolidate that win? And I think they will do it, because I think they're in the frame of mind now. They've got momentum now.
On the subject of attitude, let's hear from Manchester United's World Cup winner, Paul Pogba.
We are the middle of the season, so I mean, like the start of the season wasn't the best. Then now the start of the mid-season is much better. That's what I would say. We get more results. We have wins. So yeah, of course we would say happier than the start of the season.
6 wins in a row, if you include the league and the FA Cup. How much are you guys enjoying yourselves at the moment?
It's great. It's always good to win, you know. That's what we play for, to win, to get victories, and to go back to the top. So we're on the way. We didn't do nothing yet, even if it's something, but we always want more. We want to challenge ourselves and focus on the next one.
How much of a statement, that said, was that victory over Tottenham at Wembley?
We just play and enjoy ourselves on the pitch. We love playing big games as well. We are Manchester United and we're playing for that, to play big games and to win big games. And that's what we did. The performance was great from everybody, for all the players. David De Gea, obviously. And no, we got the result that we wanted, and now we show on the pitch.
And for you personally, 4 goals, 4 assists in recent times in the Premier League. Is it as simple as just playing further up the pitch, getting in the box more? Is that why your stats have been so impressive?
I get a lot of chances, being higher up on the pitch, more assists. I would say, yeah, can have a bit of luck as well. But like I said, you always create your own luck. But no, it's true that I'm happily playing up there with the player I have around me as well, that they help me. All the team that they help me, so it's easier for me.
And with your form and with the club's form, how confident are the team now about being able to make it back into the top 4? The manager was even talking about maybe finishing 3rd this season, catching Tottenham.
We have goals. That's our objective, to go back to the top 4. We can do it. We know we can do it. I mean, we know it's not easy. You know, you got to put the work on, and keep doing the thing that we've been doing those few weeks, and carry on. Just the next game is the hardest one. Like I said before, always the next game is going to be very difficult, because maybe you're going to come to the pitch overconfident, and that's not good. So we should respect the team. We lost as well the previous game against them, so we want to win at home.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can become the first Manchester United manager to win his first 6 Premier League matches in charge with victory this weekend. What would it mean to the whole team to help him achieve that?
We want to do our job as well, is to win. That's what we want. We want to carry on. It's the best feeling when you win games. You hear good things, you know. Everybody is, you know, we're all happy, mentally we're good. So obviously it's the best feeling, and for the manager as well. We want to win for him. He came here. He does what he's doing now. We just want to make him happy as well. He makes us happy. We want to make him happy. By making him happy, we make ourselves happy as well. So you just want to win too.
Paul Pogba looking relaxed, looking happy.
Very
He's
happy.
been saying this week the whole team is happy. They're enjoying what they're doing.
You can see it.
It can't just come down to that. There's genuine hard work behind this
Without
as well.
a doubt, Mike Phelan. We know Mike Phelan, who was one of Fergie's lieutenants. You know, we know how hard he used to push the team. You know, you speak to the guys, Giggsy and those guys, Scholes, how hard he would push the team. And so you know that he's probably been watching them before they got in, knowing exactly what needed to be done, because for them to hit the ground running, and the change in respects of the amount of yards run, and the way they're getting the ball forward a lot quicker, the energy in the team is something that somebody who knows them, knows the club, and knows how to speak to them, how to get them going. How to get them going is Mike Phelan, and obviously
Come a long way since the salmon.
Yeah, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the face of that. But we're talking about players who know what it takes to do what they need to be doing at Manchester United, and we're finally seeing it. We're finally seeing it.
And the relationship then with the supporters as well, all the stuff that may have irritated them, like the dancing. If the team aren't doing well, he's doing this, it starts to irritate the supporters. You know, get ex-players coming out saying he needs to concentrate more on his football. But all of this is, you know, when things are going well, adds up to real positivity, doesn't it?
I love it.
Yeah. You like,
And he
even
rehearsed
now.
his celebration, didn't he?
I love that swag. I love that swag.
He calls his name, like just what I said before we went on again. You know, this is very American. You know, the Americans, you understand, they show the appreciation and the happiness of the game a little bit more than we are used to in Europe. You understand, and then definitely, you know, in England as well. So that aspect, having that said, you can only do that when you do well. And I think when you do well, we don't care about it, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we want our teams to win. And as a neutral, you want the top players to do well. That's why we're watching football. He is in that situation right now by, you know, enjoying it. He's dancing. His smile is good. Away from the game, and I'm sure, Righty, you had your moment as well with him. I had my moment with him. When you talk to him as a person, just, you know, away from everything, this kid is a happy child.
This is what,
I was in the tunnel. The last time I saw him, I was in the tunnel facing the other way. Next thing you know, someone embraces you, and I turn around and it's him. You say, it's not only on the field, and if he doesn't have it, you know what's going to happen.
But
He's going to be upset.
What was happening, Mara, when we used to try and speak about him and his tenure under Mourinho, you say this is a happy-go-lucky guy. He dances and sings like just anyway. So, you know, for it to be curtailed just because they're playing badly is taking something away from his personality.
What I found quite interesting in a lot of the analysis of Paul Pogba, a lot of the criticism of it, was there was a sense of real frustration from whoever was talking about him when they talked about him. It wasn't a personal criticism, but it felt as though whoever was talking about felt a sense of frustration that they weren't seeing what they wanted to.
You know,
from
one
him.
thing with Paul, when he's playing, you can see games when it's not going right for him, and you know when the ball comes off of him easily. Some of the times it looks sloppy and it looks bad, and this is where people look at him and they say, "God, he shouldn't be doing that." And I think that at some stage in the next year, 18 months' time, all that should be eradicated out of his game because of the quality he is and the kind of player that he should be, the levels he should be getting to. But the fact that you still got to look at the good things that he does in games. I think that he can eradicate a lot of the stuff by, like what you said earlier, keeping it simple. Some of the times you can keep it simple.
Yeah.
When he's playing and he's on and you see those little touches he's doing, it's what you're paying the money to see.
Yeah.
It's what you want to see.
So it's all smiles at Manchester United. Talking of which, here's Jose Mourinho.
Sometimes we comment what we see, but we don't know what is behind the scenes that influence what we see. And I think that is a fundamental thing. If I tell you, for example, that I consider one of the best jobs of my career to finish second with Manchester United in the Premier League, you say this guy is crazy. He won 25 titles and he's saying that a second position was one of his best achievements in football. I keep saying this because people doesn't know what is going behind the scenes. What I want to say this is that we are not anymore in the time where the coach by himself is powerful enough to cope and to have a relation of education and sometimes confrontation with players that are not the best professionals. The biggest one in the Premier League, Sir Alex Ferguson, told the day a player is more important than the club, goodbye. Not anymore. Not anymore, because there are many things behind that is difficult to create a situation so linear as this one. So I think the way to do it is for the players to find a certain balance, and the balance has to be created in the relation between the players and the manager. The manager is there to coach them. The manager is not there to keep the discipline at any cost.
It's interesting to hear Jose Mourinho talking about his time at Manchester United. You get the feeling that we're just hearing the surface of what he wants to say. But what did you take from it?
Take from there that, you know, because Manchester City had so much money and they were able to buy and do what they're doing, and he came second to them. He's saying that for him to come second to that Manchester City team is the greatest thing ever because they're so far in front of him. Again, it just comes down to, unfortunately, Jose bringing it back onto himself and how great he is. I think... and
he has been incredibly...
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't think anybody questions... No one questions that. But you cannot tell me that his time at Man United, and especially the latter stages of it, was that of a manager of the credentials and the capabilities of him. He was doing some... He made some terrible decisions, and, you know, the way he treated the players and the press conferences and how badly his team was playing. You know, come on, we're looking at a team from one game when he got sacked to when they played, they were a totally different team. He literally was sucking the life out of this magnificent football club with his attitude and the way he was. And now he's going to blame the fact that maybe the player had too much power. You know, he is still Jose Mourinho, which he constantly tells us all about. But in the end, I just think that he may be a man out of time in respects of what he needed to do at this particular moment for United.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, like what he says, and just what Riley said, a man of his stature, you know, and his capabilities and achievements would never allow a player to overtake all the power he has. And I get what he says, that the players maybe have more influence than they used to have, especially because of social media and the aspects, the sources we have now as players. But away from that, this is still Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
His ego ain't small.
Yeah.
So it ain't like you're going to step on his ego and just walk right over him and go into the team and do whatever you want to do. Hell, by far not. So I'm sure he maybe is right that some of the players maybe had more influence, and when we say some of the players, we can call them, you know, the Pogbas, the guys that really, you know, are influential in that team. But he won't allow certain things to happen, and I think that's why, you know, at some point he also has to say that, like, look, if it went that far, it sometimes is also down to his own fault by letting it get that far.
Yeah.
But he may admit that privately, but publicly, of course, he said he's too young to retire. He's going to be looking for another job. He has to reframe his time at Manchester United in a way that is attractive to potential future employers.
Yeah, but if anyone's going to take Jose Mourinho now, they're going to take him on his past glories. They're not going to take him off of, for me, especially the latter stages at Chelsea and his Man United time. No way. Because if you're going to take him on that, why would you want that man as the figurehead of your club? If you're going to give me the Jose Mourinho that came to Chelsea the first time, you know, with that young, vibrant vibe about him, that winning mentality, that great football that he played. Chelsea were magnificent at that time. That guy maybe is gone. He's long gone. If you're going to give me the last 3-4 years, Mourinho, if I'm an owner, I do not want that manager. Yeah. I don't want that guy.
Yeah, the time with Chelsea, he had 3 forwards that all had goals. You know, if you have a right winger that has goals, a striker that has goals, and the left-sided player has goals, great. Now, he had problems. He goes to Chelsea. He had maybe like, okay, some of the players could score goals, but it wasn't all 3 of them were firing. Goes to Man United, same thing. You understand? He was struggling to get goals. In the system that he plays, if you don't have forwards that can score, you know, above 10 or more goals, you have a problem. Because then you become just a defensive side that is only waiting for the mistake of the opponent to happen. If the mistake doesn't come, you're playing defensively as a big team, and you lose the identity.
You know the thing. I think you know what game you can pinpoint, which would make your point even better. That Liverpool game. Remember the 0-0? You had people like Martial pulling back and Lukaku pulling back.
The one, you know, from the first one, right at the start of the season.
I remember it because it was built up so much. I couldn't wait. I literally couldn't
Red Monday
sleep.
Or whatever it was. Yeah.
And so that was a game where, when you say that, it makes me go straight to that game. He literally played a game where if your strikers who can just score out of nothing, you win the game. And that was, for me, was one of the worst tactical performances I've ever seen from a Man United team, easily.
Yeah, because you got to help them. Also in my game, when I had a winger in front of me, right, and I knew that he could score goals, he was great in going forward, I always would tell him, there are moments that I will tell you, stop coming back, because I know that they're coming at me, but at the break, you're on. So, look, you can't do it all the time. But there are moments...
They'll call that player a cheat if he does...
Yeah. But sometimes you want to give him... I say sometimes, have the battle, the psychological battle with the defender. Out of the, you know, like, let's say he attacks 5 times.
Yeah.
1 time, let him go.
Yeah.
Because that 1 time that you let him go, I put you in, now he has a problem.
Yeah.
Because now he's going to worry to make the overlaps. Because he's going to be like, I want to attack, but... If, like a Valencia or a Pennant that played in front of me, if they get on the ball now, they're in.
Yeah.
And so I was always playing that game, you know, the cat and mouse game, like seeing what I could do. Mourinho would never allow that. You let him go 1 time, you either run back or you're coming off.
Yeah.
And you see, and after a while, the problem for attackers, they don't want to go this way. They are built to go the other way. And I think Mourinho was building him the other way, going back that way too many times, and they're getting tired.
To see where he turns up next, Jose Mourinho. Now, talking about